leaves. But speaking of YCS championships, let's go to game 1 of round 6 here.
We got both players with their opening hands raring and ready to go. All we got to do is figure out who's going first with the ever-present dice roll. We got Alex rolling 8. Above average. We'll have to see it. And then we got Shinping here. Ooh, it's a 9.
Big numbers.
Just enough.
I'll go first. Just keep it here.
Shinping declaring that he's going to go first. The handshake of destiny. 2 duelists ready to go. They look at their 5 cards. Who will come out on top?
And we get to see the secret sauce here. Of course, Malice, known for its ability to run things like Dominus Impulse to offset the opponent's strategy. But here we go on the first opening play.
Looks like we're going to lead off with Fiendsmith Tract, one of the best ways to engage with the Fiendsmith portion of his deck. Shinping probably would have preferred having something like Engravers so we can get that extra name in the yard, but you're never going to complain with Tract. Oh, speaking of Engraver, we're actually going to search that and not Lurie because we opened the Lurie in our hand. Going to be discarding. You can discard whatever card you want from your hand with Tract. Doesn't need to be the card you search. There we got the Lurie effect summoning itself, and then we're going to link it off automatically for Requiem. We've seen this before. We'll see it again, I'm sure.
And for those at home trying to follow along, again, Shinping is legendarily left-handed. You can always ask your judge for left-hand accommodations. That's why the field looks a little different than it normally does.
Yes, that yellow cards are his deck. On the right side is going to be his field zone and his extra deck.
All right, so just getting started here. Alex considering his options here in the open game state.
Interesting to see Shinping sort of holding off on the Requiem and not using the effect just yet. Going to start off with this Ice RYZEAL to summon from deck. And then we see the Imperm on the Ice's effect.
Besides, he does not want to catch any of that hand worth of cards.
Yeah, Alex going, I know what cards in your hand. You only have 2 cards left. Those need to be a extender. And
oh, and the Ash Blossom. Oof.
Yeah, so we chained to the Imperm. Requiem's effect to distribute itself and search and summon. But nope, we're just going to Ash. And we're going to chain Call by the Grave on the Ash Blossom.
That was done.
Was this Chainlink 5? Yeah, Chainlink 5 called by Banishing Ash. Ash will now be negated at Chainlink 4. Requiem will now resolve Chainlink 3. Imperm Chainlink 2. And now Ice will not resolve. But we can still get Lacrima off of this. And that'll give us our second level 4.
Whew. And Malice certainly able to play with limited resources here, but it is true that Alex is committing a lot of cards to the field here, and Shinping is about to jump into this duel. Having 2 level 4 monsters feels pretty good, even though it's not exactly the way you were hoping it would work out with that Ice RYZEAL's effect negated.
And here we see Alex maybe feeling a little bit depressed about going for that early Imperm on the Ice RYZEAL. A lot of top players always ask themselves, do you interact with the RYZEAL main deck monsters, or do you save it for things like Duo Drive? Now I bet you he's wishing, I wish I just waited for the Duo Drive, because now Shinping's going to have full access to his RYZEAL engine and his Fiendsmith engine still, because he still has the Engraver being sent to the graveyard right here.
That shows you there's some resilience here, and we were talking about this at the beginning of this turn, or excuse me, duel. You know, this deck is known for grinding, but it's already shaved 2 cards, 2 pieces of interruption off the opponent, and now is able to just go into limitless resource, or at least it feels limitless, right? We're going to go ahead and Exceed summon. I feel like a... Ooh, no. Okay, we're going for the Link summon here.
Interesting. He must have access to another RYZEAL card in his hand then.
Mage's value. Tried to set up the Desiree early. There's the Impulse.
And we do have a trap card in our yard that's going to be destroying the Fiendsmith sequence on top of that. Alex is just stacked. He's like, I don't care what you do, bro. I'll be able to stop everything you put out.
Pretty painful.
So we still have the Engraver effect to summon, but I think Alex has done a very good job of sort of running Shinping out of resources. Not sure what else he might have access to in his hand.
Shinping doing that mental calculation, pointing at the field, trying to figure out, okay, I'm 30 steps ahead, but now I've got to do these 30 steps. So we're going to go ahead and return a Light Fiend. It's going to be Lurie back to the deck. No?
Maybe not.
Sequence? Yeah, Sequence is going home.
Maybe want to just keep access to that in case he wants to go into it on a future turn. And this way he can keep the Requiem equipped. Go for Necroquip Princess here.
In defense mode.
We still have the Engraver in hand that we haven't used the effect of yet, so we can get an extra draw as well as a search of another Fiendsmith spell and trap card, which is pretty cool.
Looks like we're not doing much there. Grabbing another copy of Fiendsmith Track. Won't be able to activate it right now, but you're right. At least drawing some cards, thinning the deck down feels pretty nice.
Hopefully going to get maybe access to an extra RYZEAL or a form of non-engine, because notably Alex only has 2 cards in hand left, so any non-engine you might have might be enough to stymie him and stop him from playing.
Shinping demonstrating some great card hands there. You can tell this is a duelist who has been playing game after game after game after game, and I could probably say that for 40 minutes and I still wouldn't cover all the duels he's had.
And there we see a set 1 and pass. It looks like that Dominus Impulse was more than enough to stop Shinping from kind of extending past where he was. And during the end phase, we're going to activate Malice P. Marchair's effect to banish from either the hand or the graveyard to summon out. That must mean he has another Malice name in hand, which could be pretty huge. It's going to be the White Rabbit, which will let him activate even more cards from his deck and fully access his Malice engine right now. That's actually such an insane way to play right now. Oh my goodness.
Manages to get those effects activated during Shunping's turn, so he can do even more extension during Alex's own turn without using up the effects during it. That's wild.
100%. Like, and I see him eyeing up TB11 right here. Something he could do is he could automatically use TB11, banish his Marchair, Marchair put back in his hand, and then the monster that he summoned up TB11 will be able to use its effect during his turn, which normally it can't do.
Now, we've had Malice appear on the stage before, but this is the first time we're actually seeing TB11, and a lot of chatter among duelists is, you know, maybe just cut that card, but it seems like Alex has decided to keep it, and those extra resources are definitely going to pay off.
It can definitely be an awkward card to kind of like bank your entire turn 1 combo on, because it kind of leave you open to things.
How about a turn 0 combo?
I was going to say, like, here though, I like it a lot.
Looks pretty solid.
I mean, he could honestly save it for his turn and just get the free body that way. He doesn't even need to burn it right now if he doesn't want to.
That's fair.
Yeah, I see Alex choosing just to save it here because it's just a free body, which you can use for an automatic Link 3 play.
Well, now we're actually on turn 2 with the duel. Alex drawing for turn.
Yes.
And potentially we know one of the cards in Shunping's hand is tracked, or did he do the awesome protract move and set it face down to put the fear of Ra in Alex?
It may have. Taking a quick look at the graveyard, we do have Lacrima the Crimson Tears in the graveyard, so there could be some special summon shenanigans at a moment's notice. Alex taking a look at the face down card. Of course, that TB11 doesn't have to banish any cards to be activated this turn. It has been set for a full turn, believe it or not.
And we're actually going to lead off with that TB11 to summon. Notably, Shunping does not control 3 cards, so he can't summon a Link monster, but if he did, he could have.
I mean, would you allow your opponent to summon 3 monsters just to get the extra search? It's good.
That'd be funny. But here we get the Stormmaster's Sword. The Stormmaster's effect will not be able to activate, but all you gotta do is get in the graveyard and then banish it and then summon it back out, and then you'll be able to do it just fine.
Something pretty easy to do with Marchair, who has not used its effect this turn. Again, really great sequencing of plays from Alex.
Yeah, the only amount of life points that Alex has lost is 300 because of that White Rabbit effect. So, in response to the summon, we are going to trigger Lacrima, summoning Requiem and putting the Lacrima back into the deck. And on an open game state, we're going to use the Requiem and summon back out the Lacrima. And now we're going to send a piece of the card from the deck to the graveyard. It's going to be that beautiful trap card, FIENDSMITH in Paradise.
Really good setup to be able to get ready for a Desiree, but other than that, if that is a face-down FIENDSMITH track, that may be the only point of interaction he is relying upon.
Which could be more than enough because it can answer the Link 3 that Alex goes for, which is a really important thing to do. Answering the Link 3s of Malice is by far your #1 job. Either keep them from coming out, or when they come out, get rid of them immediately.
Well, let's find out how good of a job Alex does. So he takes a look at the extra deck, considering his options, has plenty of monsters on the field to use as Link materials. Looks like we're going to start with 2. Say goodbye to Dormouse and Marchair, and say hello. Oh, wow. Ghosh going for the old combo here of Haggard Lizardos.
Yes, this does play into the Paradise a little bit because Haggard Lizardos is an ignition effect, so we can automatically get this Link 2 off the board, but force out the Paradise and not need to play around it later. You got to think if you're Alex here, you have some way to keep extending beyond this, like a Bestial or another Marchair or something like that.
Desiree triggers.
Both duelists definitely working as hard as they can here, but it's true that we're going to go ahead and return the Fabled Lurie to go ahead and get rid of that Haggard Lizardos, because it's just a little slow, right? We're talking about dinosaurs being a little slow. Actually, this one's a reptile, hasn't fully evolved yet.
Something he maybe could have gone for instead was like Splash Mage to get the automatic summon.
But that still would have been an ignition effect too.
Oh, he's not on summon. That's right. You're right.
Yeah. So it is difficult. You have to kind of play through this. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and use a backup at Ignister here.
Yeah, that's definitely enough extension.
So Alex's strategy seems to just be take the hits and keep walking forward. It's working out so far.
Like, we're forcing everything out. Like we said, we know one of the 3 cards that Shunping has access to isn't going to do anything here, and the likelihood that the other 2 can stop a full Malice combo probably isn't enough. So as long as we can get the Stormhouse banished, we can probably play.
Well, it does help to have the Lingaribo out now. If that's actually a live card face down, you can use the Lingaribo to stop it. But take a look at the graveyard here again. A couple of traps, a few Cybers monsters, a reptile for some reason. The best Malice, of course, is a water reptile.
Yep, so here we're just going to use the backup to search and then discard whatever we search because we don't have any other cards in hand. But that could be just a nice way to kind of thin our deck out in case we go for any deep draws later.
Taking a look, looks like we're going to go ahead and get rid of Chessy Cat.
Yeah, this way if we set up like a white binder later, we get so many bodies.
Oh, yeah. If you're able to banish 3, pay 300 life points 3 times, that's a lot of monsters on the field.
The unfortunate thing is I don't know how safe going for like a Splash Mage here would be for Alex, because if that face down card is like an Imperm or something, that could just fully stop his turn now. We could see SP, honestly. That would be kind of crazy.
SP.
Oh!
Hey, nice guess.
Yeah, because we won't be able to go for game because we're going to stop ourselves from, attacking our opponent directly. But we can just banish Dormouse with this. And if we respond with something like a Veiler or an Imperm, we can just use SP and dodge that.
Ooh, effect failure.
Speak of the angel, and he
Yeah.
appears.
Target. Lacrima.
Lacrima. 24 Imperm.
Oh, there's
but
even impermanence.
But it does not stop Imperm
so
and Veiler.
Necrocrypt because Veiler.
That's right.
Oh,
Veiler
wow.
is a monster
Right
that's sent to the graveyard this turn. Very heads up from Shunping, using the non-engine perfectly to stymie Alex, kind of like how Alex did to him on his first turn.
No, this is an incredible duel. Again, very familiar cards, but these duelists, being familiar with them, that's a good thing. You get great gameplay just like this.
Yep, and we're just going to go battle phase. SP attack the Lacrima, but that's not going to be enough. Alex ends his turn. It's over to Shunping.
So very simplified game state here. Very few resources on both sides. I don't know that Alex has a hand of cards at all.
Zero cards in hand and just a lone SP Little Knight, and we knew Shunping had this tracked. He's going to use it and get, again, full access to the Fiendsmith combo. He put the Lurry back into his deck during his turn anyway.
Mad respect, too, because I think I would have fallen for it. I would have thought the Fiendsmith track was the card face down that was a full bluff, and it is not a bluff. We are really doing this.
Oh, 100%. And there we see the Requiem coming back as well. Actually, is that a second Requiem?
I think it is. And playing 2 Requiems is heads up because duelists right now, they're just so scared of Kashtira Unicorn. Have you heard of running multiple copies of the same card in your extra deck? If you can, of course. RYZEAL Detonator does not have that privilege. But this definitely is working.
And just a reminder for everyone watching at home, Shunping is playing a RYZEAL deck.
Yeah. Believe it or not, it's in there somewhere.
So I believe we've taken a total of 400 plus 600 and 300. So we've taken 1,300 damage as Alex, coming in at 6,700.
It's funny how these 2 decks smash together, right? Earlier we had Fiendsmith Dinosaur, we just saw Dinosaur. Now we have Fiendsmith RYZEAL, and we're just seeing Fiendsmith.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the Requiem.
Yep, everyone's just clarifying how much life points he's at. It is indeed 67.
Man, that's a gorgeous quarter-century Secret Rare SP Little Knight, by the way.
And there we see the Engraver going to the yard because of the effect of Lacrima, and now we're going to use Engraver to summon back out. We still haven't gone for a rank 6 play, potentially, but we did put back the sequence, and now that we know Alex has 0 cards in hand and 0 cards in board, we can just go for a regular Desiree. Oh, but we're just going to get the scoop over from Alex. He's like, writing's on the wall.
Value the time, and that's something Malice players really do have to keep a track of. So, Alex conceding that duel, Shunping the victor there, and there's nothing wrong.
Yep, and here we see the players with their opening hands. My assumption is Alex is going to choose to go first, as every Aniteckzetto Malice player loves to do. The answer is potentially yes, as they pick up their cards. And we go into game 2. Will Alex cut on top this time?
Thinking.
Yeah. And what face?
Stand by.
Okay.
Quick standby phase is fine.
That's it.
Standby phase, Lancia, playing around any potential tactics cards that Alex could have in his hand. Even though there's only 1 talent, still always smart to play around it.
Main face.
It's going to be very difficult. Set a card. Set a card.
I'll pass.
And that's it. Oof. Had a funny feeling.
Yeah, a little unfortunate to see. Even though we have the brand new Aniteckzetto cards, which can play through Lancia really effectively, sometimes if you can't banish things, you just gotta say pass. But that might mean Alex has a lot of non-engine that can just stop Shunping as well. So we'll get again just a war of non-engine.
Well, Shunping's deck is reflective of last format, and what did we say last format? It was really hard to finish the duel in 1 turn. There just
100%.
wasn't enough damage there, so maybe Alex is hedging his bets and just thinking, I'm going to survive, I'm going to set these cards, play whatever I've got in my hand, and just live it on from there.
And I've definitely seen Fiends with RYZEAL decks that don't play Agdam Day, and that can make it really hard to go for game. But there we see the hard-drawn Lurry again from Shunping, just drawing the 1-ofs all the time over here.
Must be nice. That good, huh?
Gonna go ahead and get that Requiem out here.
I'll strike this summon.
Ooh,
Strike! Oh, it's such a good card. It really is. I know it's a classic one, but it still gets it done.
Can I be summoned off Emergency Teleport? Because I'm psychic right now. Oh my gosh. Like,
And I thought I had Yu-Gi-Oh! Puns.
I do love that card in Malice. I think it's a really awesome side deck option.
It really is, but it does give you the less life points, and that's something that you really have to deal with in Malice, so it could cost him. We still got 28 minutes on the clock, so we should be okay.
But there we see Shunping passing his turn. The strike wasn't enough.
Yeah, because the normal summon was burnt up. That's pretty much all she wrote.
Active Gold Sark.
Oh, and there we see Gold Sark.
Oh, that's huge.
No Lancia this time, question mark?
Oh,
we do.
Another Lancia?
This time we chain the Lancia. We don't wait for standby. We let main phase happen, and this actually makes Alex go -1. But there we see the strike, a second strike on the Lancia's effect. We've taken 3,000 life points as Alex, but we have fully resolved a Gold Sarcophagus. If this Dormouse's effect will activate fully, this will be more than enough damage.
Yeah, I'll take that trade any day of the week. And so speaking of trades, we're going to trade 300 more life points into Malice P. Dormouse.
I'm starting to have like a little bit of a headcanon. I didn't see Alex's hand when he opened up. I truly believe he just top decked that Gold Sark, and even though Shunping Lancia, he had no card, like he had no Malice engine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I don't even think the first Lancia mattered.
Well, we went ahead and used Malice P. Dormouse to go ahead and get Malice White Rabbit. Malice White Rabbit's going to go ahead and set a card. It looks like we are choosing GWC 06.
Yeah, if I'm Alex, the only thing I'm thinking in my head is Cryptor. If I could summon Cryptor, that's more than enough damage. We go 3,100, then we go GWC 06, bring it back, boom, 5,000.
We'll hit the Fualos now in order to add for those additional draws. Again, we talked about how the Fualos kind of, that makes you play on tilt, but you do have to think, consider the duel just a little differently.
Especially on this board texture, because Alex, he's smelling blood in the water. You know, he's going, how do I, in under 5 summons, win the game?
Oh yeah, you got to strike while the iron is hot. This is an opportunity right here that you may not get again.
Is that AI Meet You in his hand? Yes, it is. This is a really fun inclusion in the deck that the added Nistra support lets you do, where basically you can reveal Cyber's cards that have 2,300 attack or more, and then add a card to your hand that's the same attribute. Really cool. Fun fact, if you don't summon that monster this turn, you'll actually take that monster's attack points as damage.
Ooh, we can't do that with Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring dropping down.
So no reveal, no nothing.
It was 4, right?
Yeah, it's 4.
Okay.
But now Shunping only has 1 card in hand, an active Fualos, and we still have both of our Malice names. But going for Splash Mage here is a little risky because it just, gives him so many Fualos draws. But he might have to do it.
Yeah, he can't use the Haggard Lizardos. He's already used the effects of both those Malice monsters, so there's the Splash Mage.
That'll give the draw to Shunping, and then we're going to use the effect to target White Rabbit.
Ooh, thinking.
This is huge. This is
both
huge.
have banished already.
Correct.
Or chilling to Vader.
Ooh, Valor.
Ooh, I wonder if that was drawn off the Fualos or not. I wish I knew.
To be a fly on the wall for that one. Setting a card. Ooh, I think Alex may be locked up. I think I saw Nibiru the Primal Being, though, in the hand.
Which honestly could save him, given how grindy this game is. Like, Shunping has 1 card in hand. That Fua
69-44.
maybe just drew more non-engine at this rate.
I'll set 1.
So set an additional card there.
So my turn?
Yes.
Alex out of this turn. Shunping draws.
It is worth noting that Mage can work on Alex's turn, so if it passes back to him, he could still do something. And we do have stuff like 06, get White Rabbit, set TB11 to have plenty of bodies to make sure we don't lose this turn. So I think Alex will get at least 1 more turn, depending on what Shunping draws here.
Coming into the format, we were asking ourselves what kind of decks can slow the tempo of the duel down, and I think it's just anything that happens to have FIENDSMITH in it.
100%. That's definitely the kind of game plan that deck wants to go for because it just trades so favorably into a lot of the non-engine in this format. So we're going to shotgun the 06 to be able to use the White Rabbit's effect to set, maybe trying to play around any potential tactics, because I believe we're still in standby phase.
What phase, I guess?
Don't think we've gone any further than that.
Yeah, I think Shunping was just clarifying when this is happening.
1 in hand, right?
Correct, 1 in hand.
Yep, 1 in hand. We don't know what that card is. I mean, we do,
That's
but
MTB.
I don't think Shunping knows.
So moving into main phase.
It's going to be pretty rough here with those additional trap cards.
Main phase, normal summon, Ice RYZEAL. That's pretty good, but oh, it's Malice in the mirror.
Uh-oh.
So
that reflection looks back at you, and it's going to say no, because that means a negation effect and a banish.
That's right. So we can go ahead and use the effect of it to banish our White Rabbit. This will then target that Ice RYZEAL and negate its effects. And we haven't used White Rabbit's effect to summon yet, so we can still do that if we need to.
I think you definitely take advantage of it. I mean, for 300 life points, you might as well put the monster back on the field in defense mode.
So 40,
there it goes.
41.
41 to 69.
Yeah, just making sure we have all the life points properly accounted for. Special summon sword!
Just had the sword.
Ooh, that is a crazy... I'm starting to think that... So that means he already had Valor in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's no way you don't just summon Ice RYZEAL by sending one of your cards, using its effect, and then summoning.
Now, as we were scrolling through the deck there, I think I saw some Mulcharmy Meows, so Shunping definitely has what it takes to beat a Malice deck in terms of side deck cards.
100%. But now he's just like, all right, all RYZEAL all the time. But as you and I both know, and the people watching at home know, Alex has Nibiru. So if Shunping is not careful, he could play into it.
So count it with us, chat. 2.
But right now, I don't think there's any other RYZEAL names in the graveyard, right? So you won't be able to attach with Duo Drive. So he might need to go for X first.
Yeah, I feel like X would probably be a safe bet here, but who to drop down into the graveyard from the extra deck?
But if you're Shunping, you're like, what's more likely? Something like Effect Veiler or Ash Blossom or Nibiru?
Well, I guess if your opponent is just watching you play, I mean, you got to make some decisions, but the only time Nibiru strikes is typically when you think he doesn't exist.
So we are going to go for the Duo Drive. But if he doesn't get the extra material on it, it still plays into Nibiru the same.
Yeah. Dual drive, unsummon nothing. Or fight to search.
So 3, by the way, chat. 3.
Oh, actually, you know what? No, I think I'm lying to you because Detonator will be summon 5, right? No. The summon of whatever the second level 4 will be summon 5.
Yeah, you got to be really careful here. Oh, and it looks like we're trying to go in as we go ahead and pre-select that RYZEAL node, and our next card appears to be another Ice RYZEAL. Now, perhaps the plan is to try to set up the Nibiru, threaten something, and then build past it, but you're telling your opponent exactly what you have via the Duo Drive, so they'll know when to hold it, when to fold it.
Well, I also want to point out, Shunping did not get cross. And so we can just wait for Detonator and say, Nibiru?
Yeah.
But then if you're Alex, how do you out the Nib token?
Yeah, that's going to be a little rough, and that'll be a pretty decent sized Nibiru token. All right, so we've got the Eclipse Twins. Maybe no, because we're at 4.
Not getting cross here does leave Shunping open to the card that we know is in Alex's hand. It's just a matter of how long he's going to wait. And here we see the node being committed. This is pretty huge here. Because we can totally wait until after Detonator gets summoned and after the Ice RYZEAL's effect activates to Nibiru at this point.
Yeah.
Ice.
Okay.
Yeah, the only summon effect we haven't used yet is Ice RYZEAL's to summon from hand for free by sending a card.
Taking a quick look over at Alex's graveyard. Nothing too relevant.
Ending Linkfish.
This is a little terrifying, though, because now you're already in Nibiru territory.
Do you know what I would do if I was... Oh, I think I know what's about to happen here. I think Alex is going to go like Chainlink 1 GBC06, Chain Nibiru. So that way,
wow.
06 summons the Dormouse as the last thing. Oh boy, if we see that happen, then I'm going to go crazy.
That's pretty good. That's some good Yu-Gi-Oh!
Are we 100% sure Nibiru's in Alex's hand?
I'm pretty sure I saw Nibiru the Primal Being.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay, see, I'm not crazy or blind.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it was.
And he chained it.
It was 07. It was 07. It wasn't.
Okay.
So yeah, he can do it. This is fine as well. Yeah.
But that's still wild. Nibiru the Primal Being smacking down from the heavens here. You could be a robot. You could be a rock.
And just Ice RYZEAL by itself isn't going to be enough to keep Shunping playing here.
Exactly. But the point I was trying to make is Nibiru comes for us all.
Oh, man, that is a really heads-up play from Alex there, just having this card in his deck. I'm not sure if it came from his side or from his main deck, but it's beautiful to see.
It's kind of like a darned if you do, darned if you don't situation for Shunping, though. You needed to press the situation forward. But, there's that token.
There's also a world where going second, he sides out of cross.
Well, speaking of second, I think the second duel is over as Shunping concedes.
Yep.
Alex has walked it back. We got ourselves a match.
That was honestly super close. Like, game 1, talk about a game of...
It's game 3. We got ourselves a match. As Alex and Shunping are going to duke this out to find out who goes in a round 7 with an undefeated record from round 6.
This round started with Shunping going first, and it's probably going to end with Shunping going first. But will it end in his favor? Let's find out right now. Ooh, and there we see a standby phase. Perulia coming down. You did it to me in game 1. I'm going to do it to you. How about that?
Fair is fair in love and duel monsters.
And there is Tract, which does dodge Perulia because he summons from the graveyard, does not summon from the hand.
This is almost a shade of last summer. We did see when Mulcharmy Perulia was the new kid on the block that FIENDSMITH decks could feel like I'm just not going to summon from the hand. Is that cool with you?
100%.
So lure to the field. That's not a meow, so no draw.
That's right. And then we're going to go into the Requiem, which could summon from hand if he wanted to, but he probably won't.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like the strat right now.
Good. Yeah.
All right, but as we tribute Fiendsmith's Requiem, we are probably going to grab, I imagine, Fiendsmith's, yep, Lacrima, the Crimson Tears.
Just to get engraver access, yeah. Putting it in the graveyard is so important. And do we go straight for the Necroquip Princess, or do we go for the engraver now, make a sequence, and keep the princess in the extra deck as a resource? Lots of questions.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be pretty cool to have a Triple D wave High King Caesar, but you also have to be careful. Like, does Shunping play differently just knowing Nibiru exists?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been talking all weekend about how powerful Dominus Impulse is. Well, in any Fiendsmith deck, you could have access to 2 of those things through Caesar.
Which is incredible.
Oh, but there we see Truest Worm targeting the engraver to banish itself and not have any access to it. But we're going to Ghost Bell the Truest Worm.
Holy moly.
And we're going to chain Magnuma targeting the engraver again. Oh, my goodness.
You thought Bestial Malice was gone? Think again.
Oh, my goodness. What was it? Was it game 1 we had Chainlink 5 called by the Grave Ash Blossom? Now we have, what, Chainlink 5, Magnamut, Banish Engraver, Bell on the Druid's Worm.
This is good
negated.
stuff.
Lurie back in the deck. Magnamut on Summon Effect and search for a dragon at the end of the turn.
Wow. Okay, so get back to serious mode.
That was a lot of stuff.
We are going to see Magnamut's effect activate here.
Oh, Alex is asking, because he has no more dragons in his deck that he can search, is he allowed to activate Magnamut's ability?
He should be, because
it doesn't target. It
doesn't
can add
target,
from the graveyard. Yeah,
it can add from the graveyard.
Like, you don't even have to resolve it if you don't want to, right?
I think that's a question for our judges, but I guess we'll find out.
It may be mandatory, and because he doesn't have a target currently available, it sounds like he won't be able to use it. I'm not sure how it would actually resolve.
That's an interesting question. We'll have to hit our head judge up after this. But for now, let's see. Sword, that is going to be a monster card summoned from the hand. So 1 draw from the Perulia.
Oh, that was that got me steamy, that chain link. Oh my goodness.
I tell you, it's just good Yu-Gi-Oh!
And also from the sound of it, Alex only plays 2 Bestials, the 2 that he had in his hand. So really impactful then.
Well, Druid's Worm and Magnamut to search Druid's Worm still feels good.
100%.
Dual drive with Fatal Search.
Ooh, but the dual drive is good. So we were able to keep him off of Fiendsmith combo, but we still have full access to RYZEAL combo. That's the really cool thing about these archetypes, is they can bridge together pretty seamlessly.
Looks like pre-selecting an Ice RYZEAL there, and maybe getting the RYZEAL cross this time?
Oop, gonna go ahead and put it back in, maybe if he didn't have it in game 2.
Might have side-decked it out too.
Exactly, yeah. And then, but if you're Shunping, do you play into this Perulia still? Because all the RYZEAL monsters are gonna do that.
They really are, but you need to have some position of advantage.
Because you're playing against Malice, right? You're like, I won't be able to stop him if I don't make Detonator.
Yeah, look at that, another draw.
We're gonna send the Eclipse Twins, question mark? Set that up for later?
X-Search.
You added ice?
Yeah, Ice and Field.
So Ice is in hand. 4 cards in hand for now.
We're gonna Ash Blossom
Ash.
the X effect to search to deny access to Node, I believe.
Node would be killer here. I think that almost flags that there isn't a Nibiru, the Primal Being.
Yeah, you could set that out going second. Or no, I think you could keep it in. It depends on how scared Alex was of Cross.
At least the idea is, if you didn't Ash Blossom, your opponent would keep playing, they'd keep summoning, and then you could Nibiru, putting yourself in a very strong position. But it looks like we are going to go ahead and get the RYZEAL cross out there. Another draw, of course, for the special summon of the Ice RYZEAL, having sent the duo drive to the graveyard. Plenty of materials in the graveyard to get that RYZEAL cross's draw effect. Make sure to put those at the bottom of the deck. Don't shuffle. Learned that earlier in the tournament, but going to go ahead and Xyz.
For the Detonator.
Fetch.
Add back the Eclipse Twins. Now, unfortunately, this might be actually hard for Alex to play through, because a RYZEAL Detonator by itself is more than enough to deal with a Malice engine.
Sort of tongue-in-cheek, but yeah, RYZEAL Detonator's still good.
That said, Alex did draw 3 cards thanks to Perulia, and that's pretty good.
Kind of evens up the card advantage, right? You get 3 additional cards you can get rid of with Detonator, but you also gave your opponent 3 additional cards. You're just kind of hoping they can't do anything with it. And knowing that they've got the Bestial Druid's Worm in hand, I mean, even linking something off, and maybe you're able to stop something like Hazard Lizardos, they can still banish that Malice from the graveyard.
100%. If I'm Alex, do you go for like the Druid's Worm to try to force out materials from the RYZEAL Detonator, either by using the cross effect or by just sending it?
I mean, it probably is decent. I feel like definitely if you wanted to go into the battle phase, for sure. Absolutely. but you'd be giving up your battle phase, so you're kind of sealing of what you could do with this turn just because you're staring down. RYZEAL Detonator goes down. So maybe there's something else. There's a lot of new cards that have come out this format, so we'll see if there's any secret tech or some spice that Alex figured out.
Huge ups to Alex here, taking his time to figure out, okay, how do I want to approach this turn? Let me decide that now and then go from there, because a going for game turn looks very different than a, you know, not going for game turn. Is that a battle phase crash Magnamut into Detonator?
Put the dark in the graveyard.
Are we going to imperm this Detonator and then play in main phase 2?
Maybe?
Because if we banish this Detonator, I don't care about Eclipse Twins. You're never getting it back.
Imperm target that.
Oh, there it is.
So we're going to have to chain Detonator here. Do we have a second imperm, question mark? Or do we have like a impulse? Do they need to control a monster or any card?
With the dumbest impulse, just any card.
Okay.
So they are going to go ahead and detach Shinping, taking the heads up there, or at least he can hear us from here. Kidding, of course. Kidding.
Lamau.
But by destroying his own RYZEAL Detonator, he's going to go ahead and trigger the Eclipse Twin, being able to special summon the monster back.
Killing 1 twins, target. That
Oh, chain impulse.
And we have the Chain of Impulse because we control RYZEAL Cross. We can
wow.
activate it and stop the Eclipse Twins effect.
That's crazy. So the RYZEAL Cross missing from the second game, here in the third game, but giving the opponent the ability to Dominus Impulse because there is a card on the field.
Chilling. So 3, Lacrima target record.
So going to go ahead and Lacrima, using that to go ahead and recycle the FIENDSMITH sequence. Just good Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't care who you are cheering for. This is pretty cool. Now, there could have been some different routes. In hindsight's 2020, we get that. But both duelists giving it their all.
And Shinping here is playing around, of course, Bestial Druid Swarm.
I know Druid Swarm.
But unfortunately, I think...
So the Magma resolve at the end phase was no targets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We never used the effect of Magnamut. Ooh, if I'm Alex, this Druid Swarm could be huge because it might deny the Light Fiends that Shinping needs to go for a Desiree play with the Paradise if he sends that. I mean, Alex might have just run him out because besides RYZEAL Cross, I have no understanding of how Shinping recycles that Detonator because it's the only one he has.
It's going to be difficult. RYZEAL Cross is important, but if there's only just that copy and it doesn't survive long enough, that could be problematic. Shinping considering his options, thinking ahead, maybe FIENDSMITH Requiem to the graveyard, get Lacrima send FIENDSMITH in Paradise to the graveyard, and then use that to deal with any problems?
Yeah, but unfortunately, that would resolve... right, so it'd be Chainlink 1, Dormouse, Chainlink 2, Lacrima, dump, and then on Summon of Dormouse, you can use the Paradise. But if you chain to Paradise, Druid Swarm to get rid of Requiem, to my knowledge, there's no more Light Fiends in there, right?
Yeah, that could be problematic.
Paradise.
So we're going to go for it anyway, maybe just to cycle past the Druid Swarm, force it.
Alex, double checking. I don't see any Light Fiends in there besides Requiem, so if we just chain Druid Swarm, this could be it. Because if Shinping cannot answer this Dormouse, that's pretty rough for the program.
Let's see what we got here.
Chain Druid Swarm target the record.
Yep,
Okay, so
there
we
it
are
is.
doing it, yeah.
There it is. Just like Alex wrote it up.
Not trying to play the duel for these two duelists, but the best moves seem to be very visible, and both of these duelists are just making some of the best moves possible.
And you got to give respect to Shinping here. He's pulling out all the stops trying to stop Alex, but he was able to draw 3 cards off Perulia in a Malice deck. That's all the gas you need in this race car.
Definitely up in the allowance for sure.
But fun fact, Paradise can send from the main deck. It does not target, so you can just go, okay, Desiree's not going to work. I'm going to send an Engraver for follow-up next turn because my plan is just to have another turn at this point.
If he lives that long.
I mean, we could see a Nibiru. I mean, you never know. There are blowouts for sure.
Sure.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and get rid of the... Oh, no, we're not. No, play resumed, so that means the Malice P Dormouse went to the graveyard for the Link summon of Lingaribo, and now it's backup operator at Ignister.
And Shinping has 1 card in hand, and do we know that card? He summoned the ice that he searched? Yeah, no, I don't believe we know that card.
It's getting kind of tricky here.
Yeah, but getting Wizard here to bring back that Dormouse anyway will give us the Malice name we need to go into White Binder. White Binder gets you to CO6, 06, do a bunch of other fun, crazy stuff.
Earlier. In here.
Getting rid of that relatively useless Molcharmi Perulia. Useless for now. It's a great card otherwise. But this is kind of where the floodgates have broken, and the water's just pouring through.
Yep, and here we got a Link 2 using 2 Cybers here to go into the Splash Mage. This will give us a red ransom line, which if we can fully resolve will be more than enough for Alex to potentially go for game here.
So much damage.
It is worth noting that if we link out this Druid Swarm, we'll just get rid of the Lacrima, which is pretty cool. Yep, so we will not be able to summon back out that Dormouse by banishing it, but we can just banish the...
Detonator.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's critical. Losing RYZEAL Detonator and FIENDSMITH Engraver.
And Dual Drive.
And a Duo Drive? Sure, why not?
Effect to set a trap card, question mark? It's good. Here we could get TV11 too. Okay, it's going to be 06. That'll bring back out that Dormouse that we need, give us an extra draw.
Now, we haven't banished the white binder, so it also could just be used for battle phase shenanigans, right? Activating it during the battle phase and then using its own effect to special summon it for another attack.
100%.
Uh-oh. That may not be good for Shinping.
Wizard bring back Dormouse. I mean, if we just go Cryptor now, we have the damage, so...
Well, speaking of which, we are going to send the Druid Worm among other monsters to the graveyard.
We cannot perform that Link Summon because we don't have an arrow to Link 3.
Oh, that's right. Pointing the wrong direction.
We have to use the White Binder.
No, I'm not a Link Summon. I just can't legally summon without using White Binder.
Yep. Yeah,
I picked up 3 monsters. I'm going to commit to a Link Summon.
But he can't use those monsters. He has to include White Binder in this Link Summon. Yeah, so basically he, like, sent illegal targets to the graveyard, but he's not illegally summoning a monster yet. And he isn't committed to one yet.
I'm sorry, what? We're talking about what? No. 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 Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, so like they're just asking, is there a monster you can legally summon using those 3 cards? And to my knowledge, there is not because it's all Link monsters.
It would have to be some sort of contact fusion of some core.
I'm going to commit to a Link Summon anyway.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to commit to a Link Summon anyway. I just picked them. Okay.
Yeah, so to my knowledge, the ruling is like if you have a legal target and you send those things to the graveyard, you got to summon that. But he just doesn't have a legal one. And so he has to redeclare the targets to send.
Okay, so now we gotten rid of those, and we are bringing out Heart's Cryptor.
And then we're just going to link these 2 off into, like, it doesn't really matter necessarily. Oh, Access Code Talker.
Wow, I think it does matter.
I didn't even think he had that in his deck.
Anything else? I like the Access Code effect.
5,300.
Destroy Cross.
And we destroy them. And then we're going to go ahead and pay 900 to summon back out White Binder. Fun fact, this Access Code has 5,300 attack points. This White Binder has 2,900 attack points. That equals 82,000.
8,200.
What'd I say?
82,000.
Oopsies. A little too big, my bad.
It's fine. Hey, the YCS is a marathon, not a sprint.
23, right?
But I think they're calculating the math up now.
Dormouse was negated. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's right.
Dormouse was negated, so it is just 23. But
so
we
it's
have
no 600.
But we have 06, so we
that's true. That's
we
true.
Can use that and.
Oh, are we going for the biggest, the baddest?
Topologic Bomber Dragon.
What?
Whoa!
What episode of Brains is this?
That's kind of awesome.
I'm at 63, correct?
Interesting.
Stand by Memphis.
Is there something I don't know about? Why didn't we go
special effect?
Oh, I think we just. Oh, this was the main phase 2.
So, just as an update for players at home, Alex is getting procedural and minor for that illegal attempt at Link Summoning. Again, just a warning, friends. Not a big deal. But you do have to keep track of that. And he did notice it fast, so good on him.
1 search, 2 target bomber.
But yeah, we're going back into it. Okay.
Sure. So aggregator target bomber. So now there's not going to be any Raigeki type effects happening during this duel. I can't believe he summoned Bomber Dragon. That's awesome.
It's really cool, really cool. I think what he figured out is in the same way that you did the math and you realized that it wouldn't have been enough, he probably wanted to do just a different kind of setup and thought he might be able to do it. Maybe there's a Bestial Sarnier in his hand to keep things going. Not sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, he had the 06, right? Is there... Maybe it wasn't allowed to be activated or something? I'm not sure.
Maybe, not sure myself. But let's continue with the duel at hand as Exciton Knight, our evil swarm friend, is going to go ahead and remove a material here. It's a Light Fiend as well. It's going to try to clear everything. Going to have GWC 06, going to bring back...
I will gain 20.
Heart Scriptor.
I mean 25.
Yep, so we're just going to gain the 2,500 life points off the Heart Scriptor here, but it'll still be destroyed because of the Exciton Knight. And there we go, Shinping surviving here.
Was not expecting that outcome.
Was there something keeping Alex from attacking? I don't think so, right?
I'm not sure.
Battle.
Oh, okay. He doesn't take any damage, right? Because of Exciton.
Yeah. Oh, he's just doing it as a sign of
Dominance.
Oh, that's the handshake.
Because it was time in the round.
Oh, I see. And because the Exciton Knight, I see. Okay, so Shinping, class act, showing some cool combos there at the end. Definitely some creativity. But Alex is your winner due to the life gain on the GWC 06.
Yep, really had to play there from Alex, recognizing that he could do that.